talking about just control on top, some options as far as mobility, and how to actually maintain the position, space the position itself. Wednesday will be proper escapes, and on Friday will be the submission side. Now, right off the bat, you need to understand that knee on belly is in a transition position, happening between mount and side control, or half guard if you want to look at it that way too. So anything that you can do from side control, you can do from knee on belly. Anything you can do from mount, you can do from knee on belly, or use it as a portion of that control. But you don't have the same kind of tightness of the position that you have in side control as far as pinning, or the complete dominance that you have from mount. So if I get first on the bottom here. So we can base this around a few ways. So if you look back a couple weeks ago in the curriculum based off of our guard pass, our basic toreando, pin the feet, fake, fake, step, step, and then instead of dropping all the way to side control, I already have knee on belly here. All I have to do is squat and then lean in place, and then there's my knee on belly. But what I want you guys to work more is a little bit tougher to get to, and there's a little bit more technique involved, is doing this from side control. And then that way we are a little bit more seamless from last week. So, big thing with side control and popping up to knee on belly is to create the least amount of space as possible. Now what happens a lot of times is that guys kind of set up their grips, or even just loosely, if I'm just going to jump up, and people go straight up, right? My hip just raises and I'm trying to aim to get my knee in, but what ends up happening, especially if the guy has shorter limbs than you, he should always he should always win that battle, because the knee's always going to drive in through, because his femur isn't as long as mine, right? So especially if he has good knee pressure here, I may get into a bit of a battle where we're not quite either of us knee in, but he should, with a small hip escape, he should be beating me. He should be getting in first. So we have an option here. Okay, side control, gable grip. I'm going to release my gable grip, and I'm going to catch him on the inside of the lapel here, so that my knuckles are punching into the mat. My other hand is not going to establish a grip just yet, but I'm going to switch my base, very similar to what we were doing for our key lock, but I'm going to overdo my hip a little bit more. And then my hand shifts back, so I'm grabbing onto his hip. So the grip here is just on the outside of the pin, okay, like so. Now in this position, I'm going to basically do a push-up, but I'm going to go on a 45-degree angle this way, using my hip, my thigh, my butt to push his knee pressure out of the way, and also so that I'm shortening the distance. So my knee comes in through the armpit, and then it opens up into the position, and then I'm nice and strong from there. So if we just rotate a bit, so everybody can see. Standard side control pin. Grab onto the lapel, but your knuckles should be able to hit the mat. I switch my base, and then I bring my hand back so that I can get onto the hip itself. And I use my leg here as a post as well. I do a push-up, and I shift my hip backwards, and I slide in place, like so. And that way, I'm not getting into a big battle with his knee. My body is clearing it for me. I have a much higher chance. Okay. Now, once we get to knee on belly, the grips, you're just going to slide this one up. So I'm punching into the shoulder. My other hand, instead of being at the hip here, and there's lots of different grips we can use, is just going to be up here. And this way I have control of the inside of his body, control of the outside of his body, and then pinning the inside of my foot. And then the big thing with knee on belly is that the one side that's always open is the receiver, which plays into his escapes and also plays into my attacks. So one more rotation here. We get all angles for everybody. So side control. Okay, your grips, again, punching into the mat. You could set up your grip from here and then drop, or just drop first and then set up your grip. It's up to you. Make sure, partner on the bottom, keep knee pressure so it's real, so you'll notice the knee slips in. And then I just shoot myself not straight up, but back towards his knees, and then that way I clear the position, and then I just let this grip slide up and slide up here. Now, very important, guys, knee on belly can be very, very nasty and point of the knee. But if you want to find real control, because anybody can put weight down, but not everybody can float, be nice, and be active on top. When you're here, foot touching the hip, other foot in line with the shoulders, my hips are more forward than they are looking at it, okay? So what's going to happen is, it's not me like putting all the weight over this leg where I'm locking myself in position. I squat and I lean. So if I had two people, or if I need to take weight off of him, which is necessary for some subs, I'm able to do that. If my leg is overextended, I've now locked myself into position, and also I'm a little bit off balance backwards too. But if I'm too close, my base is too closed up, and then I'm giving him chances of, you know, offsetting my balance or things like that. Okay, so make sure you're kind of feeling it out. You should be able to pull yourself off. Okay, so one more time, just setting this up. Get your grips, or do it secondary for the second hand here. Slide up your grips. And now partner on the bottom, just light movement, and I'm just gonna kind of follow it a little bit. Okay, nice and controlled, but I shouldn't be like crushing, killing my partner underneath. Okay, start with that, and then we'll talk about our mobility. Okay, let's go. Over here. Yeah, I don't know what Jason's. Sorry, Jason.
On the inside.
On the inside. Okay, again, big thing with the knee on belly is it's a controlling position for sure. It's very offensively based, and the better you are at your mobility, the better you are going to be able to maintain it. So we ended up here and here. Now we talked about kind of how to adjust your weight. You shouldn't be able to have a 5-year-old underneath you in knee on belly and be able to pin them and control them and move and not hurt them. Right? That's the goal. But it can also be essentially grabbing a stick and snapping it over your knee. And that's what these two grips are for, right? Here and here, so that if he starts getting a little bit unruly, I can just start to try and crush him in this position. Now, if you want to be nice to your partners and have a little bit better balance, you notice my shin's going right across his stomach, right? Right across the stomach or the hips. There, he's not going to feel too much unless he's had a big burrito or something. If I want to cause pain and discomfort, my knee slides more towards the solar plexus. So first of all, I'm catching his lungs, and also you're going to get weight on the ribs and the rib cage. Now the important thing, guys, is not to overdo your balance. When you're here, a lot of people, when they try to put weight down, they put weight over their knee, which, yes, is kind of what you want, but you can kind of see what's happening here, right? It's about the hip. And the same thing when you're hip escaping from side control, you get your knee in, it's not arms that are pushing, it's the hip opening up and driving. So you want to think about being postured. So in here, if I want to put weight on him, it's not about putting my upper body over top, it's about opening my hip up to create power. Okay, and again, I'm being nice right now, so I'm keeping it this way, but if I wanted to, you know, if Chris was annoying me, I'd be putting it here. Okay, so now with our basic mobility. As he starts to move, if I have my weight on my toes right now, this is comfortable for both of us. If he hip escapes, he's gonna disappear, right? I lose my position. So as I feel him move, I'm just going to transfer the weight to my shin and get my toes off the mat. So as he hip escapes, I just start to surf him. So all of my weight is going right across the shin, and this leg here is mobility and balance. Okay? So as he moves, I just kind of follow. I use this leg as necessary. I'm almost kind of balancing like this. This foot's just setting my base as needed. Okay, obviously that's what we're doing. Again, he moves a bit, so I chase him. But I have to be primed. I have to be ready to shift my weight because I don't want to be reactionary. If he hip escapes, he moves, and then I'm trying to put my ass too late. Okay, so I have to feel that, and I put the weight down as he starts to move. Okay? Now, our first transition, and this is going to make more sense based on his escapes. First transition is the pendulum. Okay, you guys know those. I always forget the name. Okay, but the little metal balls on strings, you swing them. Pendulum thing. I don't know what they're. No one?
It's a kinetic pendulum.
Kinetic pendulum thing. Okay. I gotta find the name for that. Basically, that's what's going to happen. My outside knee, my posting knee, is going to hit this knee, and it's going to send my feet across. Okay. So the easiest way to do this with your partner is that I'm going to rock my weight forward. Both my hands go to the mat above his head, and I'm going to bring my knees together here and here. So both the knees tip to tip. Now I windshield washer my legs over, and then reestablish my base on the other side. Okay. Why I'm putting the weight over the hands is just so when I'm doing this, I'm not killing my partner. Okay. You're putting all the weight over the tips of your knees, then you're doing slow motion to beating it. Okay, so again, hands, and I just switch. One knee takes place for the other. Okay, and make sure that you're finding your balance. You should be relaxed in the squatted position after. Okay, so what I would suggest, guys, you're here, partner moves a bit, and you just start to, again, follow, you have the balance, If he stops, hands, switch sides, reset your grips, he moves. Just keep some weight on him, and again, don't hunch, okay? That's for no-gi. Here, he stops. and over. Okay? Nice and slow, nice and cooperative with your partners. We'll come back and we'll do the face. Okay? Let's go. Escape, but we want to work it first. Actually, just if you guys even just go to your knees quickly from here. So just pretend your knee on belly. What we're going to be doing is going over top of the person's head. So my hands are going to reach for their knees. So remember before we went here, hands in and step through this motion. Now we're going to go in a circle. So I'm going to reach back, my hands go to their knees, if we walk here, and I'm going to step over, my knee takes place, and then I step wide. Okay, so it's also a move in gymnastics as well. Here, I'm just alternating here. Okay, so again, whatever side my knee's on, I turn to face that. Put your hands down so you have the weight. And as I rotate, spinning on my knee, my other knee takes its place as I start to get locked out here, and then I just shift my hands, and then I end up all the way to the far side. Here, here, here. Okay, so with a person, it's a little bit tougher to do without the escape. Biggest thing, guys, pick your feet up. Overdo the motion so that you don't accidentally heel your partner in the face on the way through. Okay, so here and here, and partner on the bottom, don't lie with your arms like this or whatever, because it's not going to keep everything tight. Big thing about knee on belly, guys, is that you need to keep your core tight, right? Which it should always be when you're on the bottom. You're being defensive, chin's tucked, head's off the floor, core is locked. So from here again, have these grips. So I open up my hip, I'm going to take a big step over. Think when you're about to go pee really bad, I'm pinching my knees together, and then I swing wide and reset my position. Okay, obviously that's a bit of an exaggeration. But I step, pinch, down. Step, just keep shifting your hands as necessary, guys, and down. Okay? So that's the base move. Let's go back really quickly and just try that out with your partner, and then we're going to get into our actual technique, and that's going to be based off of his escapes and the correct motions. Okay? So real quick, try that out and we'll come back. Knee on belly, Chris, is the hip escape and the running escape. So the standard hip escape, just again, we're going to do this all in Wednesday and break it down in detail. But from here, the basic hip escape, he's just blocking my leg so I can't follow him. He pushes and he hip escapes out, so that way my knee ends up on the floor, he pulls his knee in back to the guard, so on and so forth. The other one, which is a little bit trickier, is the running escape. So the first one, because he's turning towards me, he's blocking here. This one, he's going to scoop. He's basically going to keep my knee again off of him. He's going to run away and then turn back, throwing the legs over and trying to re-guard. Okay? Basically, guys, on the bottom, all you have to do is just think about just running away from the person. Okay? So the first one, the hip escape, is actually going to be our second one that we just practiced. Why? When he hip escapes, he brings his head in. And this is the thing about your cross-side arm bar. So it's a lot faster to just step over, pinch, and step. And then now I'm also behind him too. So if we do that again, so he hip escapes, step, and wheel. He hip escapes, step, and wheel. So it's a lot faster. He's shortening the distance because he's bringing his head towards your leg. So instead of me having to go from flat, we go all the way 180 degrees. Now when he hip escapes, his head comes towards me, so I'm only having to go like 90, right? Step, big wide, back step in the face. The other one, he's going to try to do the running escape. Now I have to react. If I let him get away from me, he's away from me. Back. So as I feel him starting to roll, I'm just jumping to the other side and flattening him out. Okay, so basically I'm just powering him back down again. And he rolls away, bring the knee across, hook on his body, and then shove them down. Okay, now you can interchange these as well, but this sequence makes the most sense. And the other thing you have to keep in mind here is that when I switch, remember how those legs went away a bit? You had to really kind of, to not get hung up here. When he turns away from me, the knees drop. So you have a clear pathway through. So all I just have to hop over and then drive them back. Okay? Now, when you're doing this for real, you're going to be here with your grips. Go, right, go, go, right, back, switch. Like, you're going to be putting a lot more weight on the guy when you do this. Okay, so be nice, but ultimately be able to do the tip. Okay? Let's go, guys. Thoughts with knee on belly, because we're going to get a lot more in the other classes, a bit more specific, but just knowledge base wise. Competition. Knee on belly is worth 2 points. So if I pass his guard, right, and then I lock him down here, I'll get my 3 points for the pass plus 2 points for knee on belly. This is not knee on belly. You won't get points for it. You also won't get points for this. Okay. Sometimes though, like if you get into a bit of a battle with knees, it's actually easier. Like if you're trying to go here, switch it on them, force the knee out of the way, and then switch back. Right. So basic idea for points again is that you have about 3 seconds. That the refs aren't allowed to do the countdown anymore because, as I mentioned before, they were getting into too many arguments with coaches where they're like, you were here, that wasn't quite here. So now it's just internal. They just show control, right? So I can get knee on belly, 2 points here, and that's it, until he reguards me. So you get 2 points per side per guard pass. So this is a way of sometimes, like I got slaughtered once in a no-gi super fight. A guy who fights in the UFC now, actually. Very talented fighter, of course, because he beat me. But what I kept doing is that he kept on passing my half guard and then get knee on belly, or even just again, like he'd get knee on belly, so there'd be 2 points plus the 3, and then I'd stuff his foot again, right? And then, or I here, and then he would have really weird flexibility in his hip. He could like turn, and then he'd be 3 points, 2 points, and then it just kept happening. So I I should have just stopped regarding, but anyways. So you have to just remember that you can't like go into a tournament and go side control and go 2, 2, 2, right? But also too, you have to make sure that the leg is posted. If your knee's down, it doesn't count. You're not showing control. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Lots of different ways of going for grips. It depends on what you want to attack for submission later on. And the last and most obvious thing, guys, from knee on belly is that the mount's right there. So if you want to get 4 points from mount, or again, you don't like where you're at, or you're not sure what to do, just finish the slide, right? Your knee on belly, just cut across, sit down, 4 points from mount, and also better chance of submitting. Okay, pretty straightforward, but we'll get a lot more off the submissions and everything else. So what I wanted to see for today, guys, for specific, is just show control. Because again, if your only ability to keep someone locked in knee on belly is just to crush, you're going to lose a lot of control, and it's going to be tough for you to submit, guys, because as soon as you have to let go of that killing pressure, you won't be able to maintain your control. So I always try and teach guys to be light and athletic on top of knee on belly, because you're going to get people to give up a lot of subs that way, than to just dominate and crush. But respect it, guys, because you get a big guy knee on belly on top of you crushing your ribs, it hurts and it sucks. Don't tap. All right, guys, let's partner up and get to specific. Let's go.